Welcome, everybody. First things first, as always, if I could just get a quick audio visual check, please let me know if you can see my charts clearly and hear me all right by letting me know, first of all, most importantly, how is your day going? And yeah, after confirmation, just so I know I'm not just talking to myself, we'll get started here. Exciting times, guys. This market has been wild lately. Good to see we already have a few people watching. This is kind of a last minute decision. I just had about half hour to kill. So just a quick market update for you guys today, a shorter one. But yeah, right on. Good to go. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, guys. I mean, what can I say? Not all too unexpected to see what happened. I know this move blindsided a lot of people. In yesterday's stream, guys, I was talking exactly about why I was taking a hedge short, why I was starting to pull Stuber fibs on the bearish side here. Same with on XRP. A couple beautiful positions running right now. I only have about 20% left on my Bitcoin short, about 25% left on my XRP short, and 25% left on my older Bitcoin short from up at like 101 a few weeks ago. But yeah, guys, like I said, I mean, this was more, full disclosure, guys, the bulls were looking very strong yesterday. It was the strongest I've seen them look in quite a while. But notice today we retraced the entire move where we started that pump yesterday, right back down to those levels right now. So I just kind of wanted to bring you a quick update, my thoughts, etc. Yeah, guys, this just goes to show you, I know a lot of people consider my analysis to be very much so micro analyzing. But where I took this hedge short, notice it's not even on the 5-minute here, you guys. I need to zoom right into the 1 minute to see where I first saw weakness in this trend and how it absolutely did make a huge difference in what Bitcoin was doing. Sorry, I just got to find my spot here. Yeah, basically back here, I was telling you guys that we were getting up towards my purple box. Actually, we had just tested it, I believe it was. But basically, yeah, we got up to my 4-hour resistance, which is this purple box. I'll zoom out in a sec and show you. But yeah, first signs of weakness, guys. I had pointed out this micro trend here that we had actually, since that pump started, we never lost a single 1 minute higher low. So as soon as we did finally get that structure right here, that's where I was interested in starting to short. And I actually had a short from a little bit lower. Ended up taking some profits on the way. We bounced back up, and I had mentioned in my stream yesterday that don't be surprised if we get some sort of a bounce and we form a 1 minute Stuber fib setup, lining up very nicely with this 4-hour Stuber fib. And I love to see that. I love to see you guys, even though I mostly trade the 1 minute and the 5-minute, I still pay attention to those larger time frames, the weekly, the 4-hour, and stuff like that. I love to look at my 4-hour resistance levels like this and then see a 1 minute bearish setup form there. So notice I never just blindly shorted this level, right? I never just had limit orders set at these levels. I waited until we started to see weakness on a lower time frame like this. And this is just a classic Stuber fib setup. There was no luck involved with this. You guys, especially those of you in my Telegram channel, you know I'm always showing these Stuber fib setups that play out and that sort of thing. This is just a typical one of those setups, but it happened right along 4-hour resistance where we had a 4-hour setup of the same, and we just absolutely dumped off a cliff and we just retraced that entire move. What is in store for Bitcoin now? Honestly, we're going to have to see, right? That's a part of trading. I can't tell you if we're going to for surely continue dumping to the downside. I have my reasoning to think we will go a little bit lower. But at this point, I mean, I've taken so much profits off this position already that I don't really care if we bounce and I get stopped at break even. I really don't care because it's just a small chunk of my position yet. And same with on XRP. But yeah, guys, just to zoom out, I mean, guys, I've been so openly bearish about this weekly chart since around Christmas, basically since we were trading right here. I had mentioned to watch for a double top with this overextended bearish divergence on the RSI. And actually, even you guys, even last night on the weekly candle close, I had mentioned, and this is in my Telegram channel here, guys, I had mentioned last night on the weekly close that even though, you know, this weekly candle Yes, it showed some strength. I still had my concerns with it. I was still showing, why I was still leaning a little bit bearish and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, absolutely played out beautifully here. And guys, I mean, even from before that, the week before, I was very openly bearish about what was happening here. Same with on the 4 hour before the buy bit hack there. I mean, I was just looking at the swing fail. I don't care about fundamentals. I don't care about what's going on in the news. I'm just looking at chart structure, and that's all it is. So, um, and I'm also teaching how I look at that chart structure, how I recognize my fibs, and just the ranges I'm pulling those fibs. I talk about all that in my Telegram channel, you guys. So if you're sick of falling into the same echo chambers, hearing the same up only mentality anytime Trump talks, that sort of thing, we're just looking at charts here, you guys. So if you're interested in learning about chart structure and some of my favorite trade strategies, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code there, follow the steps in the description down below. But yeah, guys, like I said, even with this weekly candle here, it had me a little bit stumped last night. Honestly, I was a little bit confused by this candle close because it got bought up so nicely there. That was so much strength there. But I strongly believe that was just manipulated. There was one order specifically a lot of people are talking about that. Somebody put in a $200 million order and they sold out right at the top, made their quick almost $7 million in the day yesterday and closed their position. The timing lined up with certain announcements and that sort of thing. But again, guys, I'm not a fundamental guy, but I really think that had a lot to do with getting this strong buyback here. Now, full disclosure, maybe we don't set new lows, right? At this point, maybe we just end up, and I was talking about this yesterday, maybe we just set a slightly higher low, something like that, and then end up taking off to the upside. Absolutely, it's a possibility, you guys, but none of my invalidations have happened yet. I've been very open about this, that I'm not going to turn into a moon boy until something changes in my weekly chart, at least on the macro time frame, right? Yes, the midterm, the short term, sure, I'll take the odd long position, not a problem. However, with the macro trend, and why I'm not turning into a moon boy is because I have these very specific signals that I have been talking about for a couple of months at this point. One, this big overextended bearish divergence. It's not so much that it's a bearish divergence. It's a very specific one that goes with double tops that I have back tested vigorously. Okay. That's why I was so confident in this setup. All comes down to back testing. Fingers in my ears. I don't care what's going on. I don't care who's giving speeches. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff, you guys, because any back testing I've done, I have never looked back at the fundamentals to find out what was happening economically to see if it matches up, right? I'm just looking at chart structure and I'm playing my odds. So this is a very specific short setup that I look for. It has, when I've been playing it and with my back testing, it's shooting about an 87% success rate. So I was very confident in that setup, which is why I was leaning bearish. Yes, eventually this is going to break, you guys. But for now, it is a beautiful thing. And we just have this great downtrend here. As we have this bearish divergence here, notice that everyone was getting very bullish again as we started testing that same resistance line. So, and I've been saying this for a while, you guys, I really think that the first time I'm going to start feeling FOMO and start feeling mega bullish again is going to be when we end up breaking this trend line, especially now that it has 3 exact touch points. That's what I love when I'm playing trend lines, you guys. I love 3 exact touch points followed by the breakout. So understand that I'm totally willing to be a moon boy again, but I want to see the RSI do something like that, go back into overbought conditions. I would be mega bullish at that point. Even just reclaiming this resistance, I will be a moon boy. However, you guys, I need a candle to close. At the start of the weekly candle open, this was actually looking like it was breaking out, but it was on the candle open, not on the previous candle close. So, and you can see it's just being rejected ever since. On top of that, I have mentioned the Wave Master recently. We still have that big, ugly, overextended reversal warning that was right around the top here. And also now we see that for the last 4, this is week 5 now, even consider it 6, where the high frequency trading bots have been pushing the downside, and it looks like they're stepping in more aggressively. These bars down here, that's the high frequency trading bots, and they are getting more aggressive than they were a few weeks ago. So you guys, just understand, yes, I'm very bullish on crypto as a whole, you guys. I don't want to sound like Peter Schiff kind of a thing where I'm saying Bitcoin's going to zero. I love Bitcoin. I use it every day. I use it with real life transactions. I trade it all the time. I love it. I'm very bullish on it in the long term. But understand that me being bullish means I'm willing to accept the fact that it can go down, and that excites me. I would love the opportunity to buy much cheaper. And if it doesn't happen, well, so be it, right? But as far as, taking partial profits, looking at trading the downside, there's so many people who weren't willing to be in this market until we were at 100K. Like you guys, I've been bullish on this market since back here, right around 20K, right after the FTX collapse. Basically, I figured that the market bottom was probably in. So the fact that I've been in from back here, I really don't care if the price reverses at this point. I'm very open to the idea of just trading the charts for what they are. So that's kind of why I've just been openly bearish, because I just see it in the weekly chart. I'm just calling it for how I see it, basically. And how I see it is chart patterns that I have back tested multiple years worth of data for. And that's why I don't care what's happening fundamentally. I'm just going to trade the charts for what they are. So guys, I was talking about this purple box up here. I'll zoom out on this chart just because this is the chart that I was looking at it on. So basically my reasoning for this purple box here is I was looking at, what was it? The AI charting tools printed this higher high back here. And basically if I pull my fib from that level, and obviously it was just, even if I remove the indicators, it was just obviously where we had this range back here. And that was obviously a pivotal point before we ended up dumping. This is basically, that fateful Friday when that hack happened and we ended up getting that swing fail and we started our dump. That's basically where it happened. So I'm pulling a Fibonacci from that level. And I was saying, guys, that basically if we took out this lower high on the trend right here around 89K, I figured we were going to shoot right up to that resistance pocket. And that's exactly what happened. That's just a classic Stuber fib setup once again. But again, I don't really like to just set limit orders. I generally use pretty high leverage and that sort of thing. And that's not for everybody, but I don't like setting limit orders. I like to zoom into the shorter time frames and see what's happening. And that's when, like I mentioned, I pointed out this Stuber fib back here and ended up shorting that as a hedge again. So it's played out absolutely beautifully. From here, we're going to have to see what happens. I really do think that will go a little bit lower. I'm kind of aiming for this green box down here around 82K down towards 80K. Honestly, even all the way back towards 78 and maybe see a swing fail down there kind of a thing. But I'm still open to the idea of being bullish on this pullback. Here's the thing, guys, is I know everyone is going to get extremely bearish right now. And honestly, for good reason. The charts look like crap. The thing is, if we get back down into these levels right now, I will be significantly more bullish than I was this time back here, because at this time we actually broke this structure, right? We had our low, lower high. We broke that lower high. So yes, although we are dumping back down, we do at least have some sort of a bullish confirmation now, right? Other than just Trump opening his mouth and everyone getting excited. This is the first time in months where the chart actually broke structure and looked fairly decent. The thing is, if this was a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart rather than the 4-hour chart, I would be looking for my long entry down at this level, because again, you guys know 95% of my trading is basically revolves around the Stuber fib strategy. And that's where this green box is down here. So guys, I'm in a couple beautiful shorts right now, but I entirely plan on longing a hedge down here, just like my hedge short from up here. Now, obviously, since I was in a scalp long at that point, and then the short ended up taking over. Same thing here is basically I will be looking to take some sort of a long entry down around this fib pocket, just somewhere starting. Basically, where I'll start looking for an entry is around the 82,000, around that 786 fib, basically. I'm not, once again, it's a 4-hour. I'm not setting those blind limit orders right now. I want to zoom in and see how the structure reacts when and if we even get down to that level, right? Because we don't have to, you don't always get the trade setup you want. If I miss a long, so be it. Maybe I can catch something later if we end up reversing early, whatever. But what I would really love to see for me to decide to open a hedge long at some point would be if we had this kind of structure where, again, we took out, just like on the 4-hour, we have a low, lower low, lower high. If we get that sort of structure where we actually break a lower high on the lower time frame as we're approaching my 4-hour support, that's where I'm going to be very interested in taking a long position. Something else that we might see, let's just say we approach that level, do something like so, tap that level, get up there, come back down, get our bullish Stuber retest on a micro time frame, something like that after breaking structure. That's kind of the ideal situation that I'm looking for. That's exactly why I'm short right now, just in the opposite play, right? We came up, lose that, break that structure, end up coming back up, testing 786, 886, even a little bit higher, but nowhere near my 115 invalidation, and then continued to the downside, or just took that nasty reversal to the downside. So I'd be looking at something very similar from the 4-hour support rather than the 4-hour resistance that I was playing that from. So just kind of wanted to give you that little update, just because, something to look for moving forward. Maybe I'm not watching the charts later. Maybe I don't have time to post about it, whatever. Don't have time to stream, you name it. But that's something that I'm looking for to take a hedge position. I will still be holding on to my short positions because I can't get over this weekly chart, you guys. I personally don't think the bottom is in. Even though this was great strength to the upside here, that's not even a green candle. Yes, it closed above this structure here. But again, we never did break that RSI divergence. High frequency trading bots still trading to the downside. There's just still so many things that are red flags to me. I just don't want to FOMO into this uptrend, if you want to call it that, early, because, the bears have been so strong the last couple of weeks. So I don't want to rule anything out. The markets are in a very weird place right now, right? People are looking at any reason, anything to blame, anybody to blame. Guys, again, if you're getting wrecked in trades because you're trying to play fundamentals, and you want to blame those fundamentals, or someone said the wrong thing at the wrong time, that's all those things happen at specific price levels. And honestly, there's so many ways to misanalyze global and economic data. There's so many places you can make a mistake with that, whereas with reading the charts, at least you're very limited. You can only really make a mistake with your own analysis, and that's why we aim to get better and better. Just give me one sec here, guys. Sorry, someone was at the door. But yeah, guys, the market, as far as I'm concerned, still looks very worrisome. There is potential order block right here, where we're potentially finding support right now. Like I said, the whole move has retraced. Maybe we end up finding support at the same level there. But I just have my doubts. Ideally, I want to come back down to this level before I start taking longs. If something really catches my eye on the shorter time frame, like even right now, we did technically break a little bit of structure here. Technically, we would have had a little Stuber fib play out, but again, I just wasn't really interested at this time. That would have played out as a scalp already, and then you would hope to catch a breakout with the other half of the position, basically, if you were looking at playing that. But yeah, as it stands right now, I just don't have a lot of faith in the bulls. I really feel like this pump was manipulated. It feels very similar to this pump back here, where we had a very aggressive bounce to the upside and everyone got very excited. That's where same exact setup that I took my hedge short yesterday, had the exact same setup back here, and it really feels like the same type of price action. So I don't know, guys. I'm having a hard time being bullish still. I know that's been the common theme on this channel, with at least with my streams and in my Telegram and stuff. But honestly, you guys, avoiding the FOMO has saved me from getting wrecked, because, all the biggest influencer Twitter accounts and stuff like that, everyone's all about up only. Any sort of fundamental thing that happens that sounds bullish, everyone's saying we're going straight to the moon. Understand, guys, that even, and I'm not even saying this is the bear market, okay? It's very possible we're going to end up continuing to new highs, whatever. Maybe this is a short-term correction. Totally open to that idea, you guys. But just understand that that doesn't have to be the case, and understand that even in a bear market or the top of a bull market, the top of a bull market is going to be where fundamentals are the most insanely bullish. And people are going to say, how could you possibly be bearish when all these things are lining up? And that's when you're going to get blindsided. And that's a big reason of why I was just kind of warning everybody about the 20th of January. I thought the 20th was going to be the top, at least for a short-term correction. And so far it is a top. That was on the 20th. And we ended up correcting, what has it been now? 28, 29% to the downside. So a very serious correction. Just like this correction back here, right? When we had this move to the downside, and this was actually also a Trump speech right there. And we ended up dumping 30%, 29%. So very much the same vibes and the same kind of market structure. And yeah, it just, to me, the market feels very weak. It feels like it's afraid, but not in the good way that, to buy the blood type of a thing. I don't know. To me, guys, like, I'm being very cautious until, like I said, the weekly chart breaks any of my red flags, we'll call them. If we break any of those, I will be ready to start long in this market more aggressively. But as it stands right now, I'm big time favoring the short setups. And even when we start trending to the upside, like yesterday, I took a couple scalps to the upside, but for the most part, I was waiting for that weakness to get back into a short. And yeah, it's played out absolutely beautifully. XRP, I was looking at the exact same thing, right? I had pointed out in yesterday's stream that there was this bearish Stuber fib. I actually changed my entry a little bit because I added to my position. There was this Trendmaster indicator. We were starting to respect that sell signal as resistance, and just how I felt with the markets as a whole, I added to my position and dropped my average entry. So that's why it's not right by the 786 anymore. But the same kind of idea there, as I started the position with that 786. So, and yeah, same thing with XRP, right? We've retraced the entire move basically. In fact, actually, we haven't quite retraced the entire move. Look where we ended up stopping. Came right down to that 786, 886 fib pocket. So yeah, I mean, this is exactly why I said that I was taking profits on the way down, you guys. It's very possible we end up bouncing from here. I'm not interested in the long setup yet. But again, I see reasons for at least taking caution, at least starting to update, I have updated my stop loss, I mean, yesterday already, but just taking more profits and that sort of thing. Also with Bitcoin, I had brought up earlier the AI charting tools. This is another reason why I think it's possible that we get a bounce, is because there's starting to be a lot of these green zones here. So these are basically demand zones from the AI charting tools of the MDX Algo collection. Beautiful indicator there, and it is showing some strong support there. So maybe retracing this move and getting back to that demand zone, maybe that's the start of a reversal here. But again, I'm not going long yet. I'd rather see those lower entries down at my other fib pocket, but I am open to the idea of an early reversal. And that's why I've, again, just paid myself some more on my positions, basically. Guys, I am going to catch up with the chat here. Guys, if you do appreciate, my take on the markets, you appreciate that I stay level-headed when the markets get super volatile like this and so on, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And guys, like I mentioned, if you want to learn more just about reading charts, market structure, how I look at ranges, how I pull my Fibonacci's, all that sort of stuff, you guys, I do give, my thoughts on the market in general, some trade setups and ideas, just a level-headed approach looking ahead with some educational content, how I look at my Stuber fibs, etc. And also, guys, my followers, my partners at BloFin giving my followers, there's a couple days left here of a nice 10% cash back deposit, or on your deposit rather, into your BloFin account. So you can take advantage of that for a couple more days as well. But yeah, hope to see you guys, or hope to see you in the Telegram channel. And yeah, how's everyone else feeling about the market? Let me catch up on some comments here. Good to see everybody here. 92 watching. Great to see. Please smash that like button if you appreciate this. And let me just catch up a little bit. Yeah, let me know how you guys feel on the market and just how you're doing in general. Giant cup and handle on the weekly. I'm personally not seeing it, but because I would say, if anything, if this was going to be a cup and handle, I think we would have broke straight up. Whereas we're getting that, that bearish divergence, bots selling to the downside, big reversal warnings on indicators. I just have my doubts. I feel like that's something that a lot of the larger influencer accounts have been posting for bullish hopium to get more clicks, a little clickbaity. Maybe it plays out. And honestly, you guys, like I said, if anything on the weekly chart gets invalidated with my theories, I will be ready to be a moon boy again. We either break structure, I'll be looking to long every pullback while we do that again. But again, as soon as we start getting these reversal warnings on the RSI, same with the opposite end. If that happens from overextended, just like back here, and then we get that bullish divergence in the RSI on the weekly, I will be very, very bullish again. But even just breaking this bearish divergence, I would at least give a lot of credit to the bulls in that case. But there's still so many red flags for me. I personally think we're on our way down to at least 70K. Happy to be wrong about that. It's just a gut feeling right now because that's where our order block is on the weekly. And the Stuber fib is actually lower than that. It's actually around like 63K down to 56K. It's not a pretty sight, honestly. But again, I'm not saying we have to go there. That's just levels to watch out for because people love saying you're never going to see those levels again. Usually that's people in their first cycle who have never seen what Bitcoin can do in a cycle. So just understand that the market does not give a shit what we think. And it's best to be prepared for absolutely anything, because if we start dropping to these levels, there is going to be so much panic in the market. And if you're sitting here thinking that that can't happen, you're going to be very upset if it does happen, if you're not ready for it, basically, right? So just something to think of, something to consider there. Yo, Dan. Do I believe in the higher high printed on the Algo Master on the 4-hour time frame to be correct? It wasn't confirmed by a higher low. I don't use those on the Algo Master, to be honest. No, I don't have those. I use the AI charting tools or the auto charting tools, either or. Let me just check. Higher high printed on the Algo Master on the 4-hour time frame to be correct. I'm not sure. I don't see a higher low or a higher high here or anything. And also, guys, this is a lagging indicator, right? So we might see like a LH appear here as a lower high. I can almost guarantee it, actually, that we'll probably see that eventually. So if that happens, for those of you with the MDX algo indicators, if that signal does print, I would personally be pulling a fib from there just to get ready to short it again if we do get that retrace. Put in a significant buy. If it dips further, I will do another buy. And fair enough, right? A lot of people want a dollar cost average in. I personally want to see the bullish confirmations before I start buying again. But that's the thing, right? A lot of people dollar cost averaging, if you're just looking to buy the dip kind of a thing, yeah, I mean, we've had a great dip, right? It's very possible this is the bottom, right? Like I said, we have this bullish structure here that we did actually break some bearish structure. So even if we just pull back a little bit further, like it is hard to say what's going to happen right now. I see the scenario for both. The weekly looks like absolute trash to me and looks like we should dump off a cliff, and like we haven't seen anything yet. The 4-hour, on the other hand, looks like, hey, there's some early warning signs that we might be starting to reverse to the upside again. So that's why I'm looking to take a hedge down here if we get here with the proper structure on the lower time frames. But yeah, I'm not a moon boy. I would consider, buying some spot down here actually if we get down there, just as a little bit of a DCA. But unfortunately, a lot of people think they're going to DCA, but then they listen to all of those with large influence or large followings who only post bullishly. And then those people no longer have any cash to buy the dip when the real dip happens, right? If everybody thinks that, oh, we're never going below 90K, so they're done dollar cost averaging down to 90. Well, what happens if we do enter a bear market or just a 50% correction or whatever, right? Then you're left on the sidelines thinking, oh, I wish I had some left, right? So that's where, yeah, it's always good to have some left on the side that you're ready to buy a little bit dollar cost average in. I do most of my trading is leverage, obviously, but yeah, I can see reason for buying spot at least. Like I said, this 4-hour at least has some sort of a sign that there's been some bullish structure. But yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens there, fellas. Yeah, that's about, oh yeah, we are above the 786 here on XRP again, but it's not looking strong. Even if I wanted to really zoom in market structure, here's our low, lower low, lower high. That does look like a bit of a swing fail to me. That looks like a swing fail to me. So that's a tough spot, right? I wouldn't want to get into I wouldn't want to take a new short here, even though there's some bearish structure there, just because we are actually at support, right? So it gets a lot riskier if you're trying to short this downtrend right here on XRP, for example. But I still wouldn't say it looks great. I wouldn't say I'm bullish on this support. It's just, being cautious and not being overly bearish at support is all. Let me correct. Do you believe the last higher high printed by the AI charting tools? Let me go back to the 4-hour. AI charting tools. So from the higher high here. Influencer friendly. I assume that's the higher high you're talking about then. So you're talking about pulling a bearish Stuber fib from here. If that's the case, that's exactly why I have that resistance box there, right? That's exactly why I had this purple box on my chart, was that exact Fibonacci pull. So if that's what you're referring to, you are absolutely right. Yeah, notice the 1 minute is already trying to reverse. I just saw this this supply zone or resistance form. We got a lower high signal print here. Just to show, and this, like I said, this is a lagging indicator, so this may not have been printed in time. But again, just notice how that works, right? You get that lower high signal, boom, Stuber fib right there, perfect rejection. I see that all the time when combining my Fibonacci strategy with some of these indicators, the MDX, Algo AI charting tools, or the auto charting tools, any that have those pivotal points. Such strong confluence for Fibonacci's a lot of the time. Yes. Okay, that is the one you were looking at. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that pull. That's exactly where we topped out. So that being said, you have to remember that now that has already played out once, right? Because we got the Stuber entry already and we've hit the first take profit. So technically it's already played out. So if we get back up to this level, I would have less faith in the bears just because it's already been tapped at. Yeah, sometimes you don't get the pivotal points, like a lower high, for example, down here. Never did get a lower low rather. Yeah, it never printed one there, but like I said, it's a lagging indicator. I don't even. I'm actually surprised there isn't one there yet. I assume there will be one. Sometimes it works out that you get them laid out there in time to pull a fib from. But honestly, I was already looking at it just because there was that higher high and we had obviously set a lower low, right? So I just kind of combined the indicator with my own analysis, basically, just looking at the indicators for a second opinion, basically. Because when it comes to trading for me, I always look at market structure first, the way I'm looking at market structure. And from there, I try and bring up some indicators and look for a second opinion. And this would be one of those cases that, yeah, the indicator wouldn't have laid it out perfectly. Actually, for a while, I think it did. Oh, no, it never did. But basically, I would be looking for the indicator to match up with what I'm looking at as a second opinion. And that's what we see here. How much have I TP'd on my short from 94? I have TP'd 80%. I still have 20% running. So not much, right? I have taken most of my profits because we've had a beautiful move to the downside, but I just want to leave some there because if this floor gives out and we do get a random nuke down to 70K or something, I want to have some skin in the game yet. But yes, it would be foolish to be in a short from way up here above 94 and not be taking any profits when we're down like $8,000, right? So beautiful short position there. And it just started as a hedge, guys, just like my short from 101,626. The exact same setup. Oh, I don't even have it on here anymore. But anyways, guys, like I said, I don't have a lot of time today, so I think that's about all I wanted to go over in today's stream. So hopefully you guys found this useful. Again, if you appreciate my content, keeping a level head, seeing some of my trade strategies, that sort of thing, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And like I said, guys, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code, follow the steps in the description down below if you want to, kind of have my thoughts on the market, some of my trade setup theories and ideas, following along with how I look at market structure, how I pull my ranges, how I treat my Fibonacci's when I pull those ranges, all that sort of stuff is in the Telegram channel there, free to join. So if that's something that interests you, scan the QR code on the screen in front of you. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Have yourselves a fantastic evening. Peace out.